Phil Lesh, bassist for Grateful Dead, dies at 84. In a poignant farewell to a music legend, Phil Lesh, bassist and founding member of the iconic Grateful Dead, has passed away at age 84. Known for his unique and experimental bass style, Phil left an indelible mark on rock and the counterculture. He was instrumental in shaping the Grateful Dead sound, which blended psychedelic exploration with folk and blues. Phil's family shared a heartfelt announcement on Instagram, noting his peaceful passing surrounded by loved ones. They expressed their gratitude for the joy he brought to so many and requested privacy during this period. This announcement comes just as Phil and his fellow Grateful Dead members were named the 2025 MusiCares Persons of the Year for their influence on music and culture. A tribute concert is scheduled in their honor on January 31st, celebrating a legacy that touched countless lives. Phil Lesh was no ordinary rock musician. With a background in classical music and jazz, he entered the Grateful Dead scene as something of an outsider in 1964, joining Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, and others to form a groundbreaking band that would define a generation. Phil's musical contributions were not limited to his bass playing. He co-wrote songs like Truckin', Cumberland Blues, and Street Steven, which became staples of the band's legendary live shows. His tender, deeply personal Box of Rain, written for his late father, is one of the Grateful Dead's most beloved tracks and stands as a testament to his sensitive side amid the wild energy of the band. The Grateful Dead became famous for their live performances, which often felt like cosmic journeys for their audience. These shows were the foundation of a devoted fan base, affectionately known as Deadheads. Phil was a driving force behind the Dead's experimental soundscapes, helping to push the band into new sonic territory, both on stage and in the studio. His curiosity and innovation were integral to the band's ambitious wall of sound, a massive and complex PA system that set a new standard for concert sound quality. It made live performances feel immersive and surreal, though the costs of maintaining it led to a brief hiatus for the band in 1975. Phil's life was rich with musical influences. Born in 1940 in Berkeley, California, his love for music started young, listening to the New York Philharmonic broadcasts with his grandmother. Initially trained in violin and later trumpet, Phil's music journey eventually led him to explore experimental and avant-garde sounds, drawing inspiration from figures like jazz saxophonist John Coltrane and composer Charles Ives. This diverse range of influences infused the Grateful Dead's music with a distinctive fusion of genres, creating a sound unlike anything else at the time. Phil's journey with the Dead began in earnest in the mid-60s, as he learned to play bass on the fly after joining the Warlocks, the band that would later become the Grateful Dead. His lack of formal training on the instrument allowed him to approach the bass with an unconventional style, adding to the Dead's unique musical identity. Their first major breakthrough came with albums like Working Man's Dead and American Beauty, where the band's folk rock tunes resonated with the counterculture and captured the spirit of the 1970s. These albums produced classic songs like Uncle John's Band, Casey Jones, and Box of Rain. Over the years, the Grateful Dead became known for its long, improvisational performances, particularly during the acid tests, psychedelic events organized by author Ken Kesey. These gatherings solidified the band's reputation for melding music with the intense, experimental vibe of the 1960s. Their concerts were less about playing hits and more about taking the audience on a musical adventure. Deadheads would come from all over, trading tapes of shows to keep the experience alive long after each concert ended. The band's concert at Cornell University in 1977, often hailed as one of their finest, was later added to the Library of Congress, a testament to the impact of their live performances. Despite their success, life with the Grateful Dead was often turbulent. The band faced legal troubles, including a high-profile drug bust in New Orleans in 1970 that inspired the lyrics to Truckin'. Financially, they also struggled. In a notable incident, Mickey Hart's father, brought in to manage the band, embezzled a large portion of their money. However, they pressed on, recording albums and touring extensively, often to massive crowds, as their fame continued to grow. In the later years, Phil's role in the band evolved. By the time the Grateful Dead hit mainstream success with their only top 40 hit, Touch of Grey, Phil was less involved in songwriting, although his presence and influence on stage remained undeniable. After the tragic death of Jerry Garcia in 1995, the Grateful Dead officially disbanded, but Phil wasn't ready to let the music stop. He continued to honor the Grateful Dead spirit through his project Phil, Lesh and Friends, which kept the Dead songs and improvisational ethos alive. He also collaborated with former bandmates in groups like the Other Ones and Further, seeking to recreate the group mind that he described as the foundation of the Grateful Dead's unique sound. As Phil once said, "The music is playing us," an ethos that drove him to keep performing and innovating. Phil's later years were filled with musical adventures and a steadfast dedication to his craft. He continued to perform with Phil, Lesh and Friends, sharing the Grateful Dead spirit with new generations of fans. Even in his 80s, he was performing on stage, radiating the joy and passion that had marked his six-decade career. As we remember Phil Lesh, we celebrate not just the bassist who stood at the back of the stage, but the visionary who helped shape the Grateful Dead sound and the music landscape at large. Phil's story is one of artistic curiosity, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of creative freedom. His music will live on in the hearts of Deadheads and music lovers worldwide.